All right. Well, welcome to the Get Fit with Jodelle podcast. I am, as usual, Jodelle, and it's time to get fit because today we're talking stubborn fat loss and what to do about it, hormones, peptides, and my old school favorite from my bodybuilding days, the ECA stack, is making a comeback. So, as well as some cutting edge therapies such as IV therapies, and even now a new drug we're going to talk about today. Yes, I said a drug, me being the naturalist. This is a cool one though. So we want to talk about something that's outside the box, outside mainstream thinking. And so if you're wanting answers to that exhaustive search of how to lose weight, keep it off, dial in your aesthetics, and dial in your health, then look no further than today's show. So as we age, thanks to modern science, we can do it safely and we can do it a little more gracefully with the help of our friends. And so I'm going to introduce you to some of my friends who are helping many of my clients do just that. So John and Sharisse, now you're going to have to tell me how to say your last name, because as long as I've followed you guys, I don't know how to say your last name. How do you say it?
So our last name is pronounced Tsikouris.
Tsikouris.
It's Greek.
Yeah.
So it starts with T, so that throws everybody off. Like, this is Tsikouris. So the T's are always silent in Greek if you see them in front of a name like that.
Very good.
So it's pronounced with an S. Tsikouris, our last name, and it is a tough one.
Yeah. So these guys are the founders and CEOs of a highly successful company called Titan Medical Center located in Tampa, Florida. And I love this center and wanted to have them on today because while I love to guide my clients in the realm of holistic nutrition, there are times when hormone replacement is necessary, and perhaps the use of peptides would be a great adjunct to the holistic treatment. And since I know my limits, I love to network with medical professionals who believe that modern biohacks, such as hormone replacement and peptides, and even things like the ECA stack I mentioned, can be beneficial depending on the person's goals or desires. And Titan offers telemedicine visits so that anywhere you are, you can work with them. And I love that aspect. So I'd like to introduce you guys to them. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, so I want to start where it all starts, which is hormones. Okay, we're going to dive right in there because across the board as a nutritionist, the blood work that I'm seeing in most of my clients, I see low testosterone, low progesterone, excess estrogen, and hypothyroid running rampant, and high cortisol. So you guys, give me your clinical experience, your professional opinion about why this is, and what's the major causes of things like hormone imbalances in men and women.
Sure. So obviously, it was the biggest question when we came to play almost 10 years ago, right? Because, when we first were getting this started, I was working with doctors and athletes and such like that. And we're looking at all these different blood panels. So we're looking at these different athletes, different people, general people, right? And the main thing that we were seeing there, and this is what this is what we need to get into, was clinical deficiencies of hormones in general, right? Mm-hmm. Guys, girls of all ages. So it wasn't just somebody that was old, 50, 60 years old, going through menopause as a woman, or even a guy, hyper gonadism. Mm-hmm. And at that point, we started seeing this, and we're like, well, my first question is why is this, right? Because that's the first question that somebody asks you as a patient. If you tell them at 28 years old or 30 years old, hey, listen, you have a deficiency in testosterone, these different hormones, are like, what do you mean?
It sounds ridiculous, right?
What do you mean? I'm 28 years old, or I'm 30 years old. I'm very healthy. I work out. I eat a good diet. Nothing crazy. So why am I in this predicament? I've never used anabolic steroids or anything that would, shut down my testosterone levels or diminish them. So, what is it? And I've asked a lot of different doctors over time. I know she has too as well. Went to many different seminars, anti-aging seminars, talked to doctors from all over the world. And nobody has a main answer per se, right? Mm-hmm. But here are some of the different things that are affecting these things, and we can agree on as a medical community. One is our environment, right? Yeah. All the toxins, everything that we breathe in the air, all the chemicals, they're EDCs, and it's not like the festival EDC, it's endocrine disrupting chemicals. Yeah. And we're taking these in every single day in every different type of ways that you could possibly think of. And our main thing is an involuntary thing, it's breathing. We're going outside our environment. Different areas have different environments as far as toxins. Even me, when I grew up in the Midwest in Chicago near Gary and all the steel mills and all the industrial there, I mean, you should see the clouds and clouds of smoke that come out of there. And, you know, as you're a kid, you don't really think about it. And even when I was growing up, my dad was a chain smoker, smoked with me in the car, 2 packs a day, windows up. I mean, so, right? But we didn't know then what we know now. Now we're starting to get a little bit more educated about what's going on in our environment. So that's one major thing, right? The other things are on these EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals.
Deodorant.
So
Everyone needs deodorant.
So we're putting it into our body, and we might not even realize that. We think, hey, listen, this has got to be safe. I can buy this in the grocery store down the street. I need to use this like deodorant, right? I don't want to smell bad. I want
Laundry
to make sure
detergent.
Laundry detergent, different lotions and stuff like that. And even recently, if you read in the news like the last year or so, where they found these different chemicals, cancer promoting chemicals in like different things like what's it called? The suntan lotion?
Sunscreen.
Sunscreen. They found the carcinogenics in a number of different things like that. So we need to look at these main and big names too. So not some small little names, some little company that's out of Mexico that's just making anything they possibly can. It's these big different companies out there. So these are different things. Now, obviously, we got to look at the other big thing that we're taking in every day. And that's our food sources. And you should all right along with us. You know, the food sources these days are not like they used to be. And then the choices of foods that people are eating. So the choice of food, when you go out and you see, you know, whether you go to a store or whatever it may be, you know, I would say 60 to 7% of those foods are bad for you. They're major processing there. And we don't know what other chemicals are thrown in there that could disrupt these hormones in our body.
And not forget too, this was a big one because I've suffered from high estrogenic issues my whole life, and I didn't know that until we opened Tight Medical Center, and I have my background story on that. But you know, I didn't realize that, you know, after doing all this research, if you're heating up your food in plastic, that could literally can make your estrogen go high. The bottled water, if it sits in the sun, that can make your estrogen go high. It's like the littlest things that you'd be like, what? Like, are you serious? And it's almost like, I hate to say it, but it's almost like inevitable. Like it doesn't matter what avenue you take. And now we've been open for a decade. And, you know, I've seen hundreds of thousands of blood tests at every age, every race, every, you know, gender, whatever it might be. And it's absolutely insane. It's 100% like it's an epidemic. Like this is happening. You know, it really is. It's happening. High estrogen and low testosterone. And we're seeing it across the board for everybody. And, you know, obviously, if we take all the other stuff out, like, you know, let's take all the clinical things out and let's just say, hey, okay, let's just say quality of life, right? If you don't have these hormones balanced outside of just aesthetically how you might look, right? You don't feel good. Like, you know, you might be in a bad mood. You might not want to get up in the morning. You might be tired. You're unmotivated. You don't have memory, focus.
Depression.
You know, you're feeling down and depressed. You think you might need an antidepressant when it might be something as little as just getting your hormones dialed in. You know, you don't have the quality of life sometimes.
Sex drive and libido for males.
That's a huge one. I mean,
it's
the same exact thing, you know, and it really is. It's huge. It's a big thing right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's something to watch out for. And a lot of people are starting to be more educated in hormones. When we started 10 years ago, it was more of a taboo type thing.
Very taboo.
It was a very taboo type thing, right? Especially for guys, right? Only guys that take testosterone or bodybuilders or people who want to get jacked up.
Well, when I was in nursing, remember when you opened, I was like, what? I'm like, testosterone? Oh my God, that's going to give you a heart attack. You're going to die. Of course, you know, this was 10 years ago, granted, almost 11 years ago now, but, you know, now it's like everybody is finally on the same page. They're like, wow, this can be a preventative. You know, it's in medicine, it's always been like, okay, let's wait till it's broken, then we'll fix it. That's always been the mentality. When you go to school, that's what they teach you. And then now it's like, wow, there's a preventative medicine, like, you can do that. You can go this route, like where you may not have to face high blood pressure, high cholesterol. You know, you may not have to face being obese.
Type 2 diabetes.
I mean,
hypertension.
It's crazy. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been an enlightening experience seeing more people educated about it, but there's a lot of disinformation out there too. Still, a lot of people, it's always going to be that way, I guess, you know. Some people think one way about it. Some people think another way about it. But I think the newer practitioners that are coming out, and they don't get taught in medical school to go over hormones. They don't understand the balance of hormones. That's not what they do in medical school. Okay, they get about a week in it, just teach you, hey, listen, testosterone, the hormone, it's a hormone, this is what it is, and that's it, and they move on. So, you know, going to somebody educated about it too as well, that's another big one out there, because, you know, there's a lot of practitioners and everything like that see, you know, hormones, revenue, and they're done with the insurance business model, and because they got to see 80 patients a day to even keep the door open. So they see it as another enlightening thing where they can do and add revenue, but they don't really understand how to balance them correctly. And this messes with somebody's health and their daily life and the quality of life. You know, it's not like we're selling TVs to somebody. Hey, listen, the TV's broke. It's not right. Don't worry about it. Bring it back. I'm going to send you out a new one. Not a problem.
It's not making people.
You know, where hormones can affect, like she said, daily life, everything of quality of life, from your sleep, you know, to your weight gain, the way that you feel and your mood, you know, and that can affect your relationships, whether it's your personal relationship with your family, with your partner, or even in your job. Okay, you know, your peers around you and your job are going to feel that effect too if you're in a bad mood all the time and coming in and bringing everybody's mood down. So I think it's a big one. And the people that don't know about it and they're just living with this day in and day out, let's say it's the energy levels. Everybody's tired nowadays or can't sleep.
Yeah.
Those are the two biggest complaints from people, except for weight loss.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's why it's $1 billion market and energy drinks and everything out there, because people are covering up these different symptoms and not getting to the root of the problem. You know, it's a major thing out there that I see with people. And sleep's another one, especially because of COVID. COVID has caused a whole bunch of different problems, especially people that have post-COVID and long-term symptoms.
That's me.
They're dealing with disease, and it's crazy because a lot of people, when they go in with these different symptoms, some doctors that don't want to hear it, it's called medical gaslighting. Medical gaslighting means that when you go into a practitioner and you say, hey, listen, I'm not feeling good. I got this problem in my stomach. And they're like, you know what? It's just because you need to lose weight. And you don't lose weight, and then we'll talk about something else. You know, I just talked about this today or the other day on my Titans, where a lady had a 25-pound tumor in her ovary. She'd been telling her doctor for years, and her doctor wouldn't even do an MRI for her until she went to the ER, and they actually went in there and did exploration of what's going on. That's when they found the tumor.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So certain things like this, you know, you need to listen to your practitioner, yes, but at that point, you know, if they're not listening to your concerns, it's a collaborative thing.
They need to listen to you. That's huge.
Nobody knows your body except for you, right? You're living your body every day. You know exactly how you feel and how it should feel, possibly. And they're there to help you, and they should want to take you and get you to a better quality of life all the way around. But that just doesn't happen to
well, that's what I tell my clients too, is I say, I'm only here to guide you. You know your body better than anybody. And but the cool thing is like you said, we can go to the root of the problem. Like you were mentioning all those symptoms of high estrogen, like the irritability and the weight gain that's there for no reason, and the sleeplessness and all of that. And then you also said depression. Well, people need to understand you don't have a Prozac deficiency. Let's go to the root of the problem. Let's see what your hormones are doing. And you can correct your hormones. You can do them naturally, or if they're so low, like a lot of people's are, sometimes you have to go the extra step and replace them naturally. And that's what you guys are really good at. So talk to me about, is it safe, like this hormone replacement, and you know, the benefits of testosterone for women. I just did a complete podcast on why testosterone is probably one of the most important hormones for women, not just men.
Absolutely.
I take the testosterone troche myself.
Yeah. You know, and that's another main thing, right? Where you should want to know the knowledge of what's going on inside. A lot of people don't care for their bodies like they care for their cars. They take their cars in, it gets maintenance, oil change, diagnostics. You know exactly what's going on. If there's something wrong, you fix it. A lot of people don't do this for themselves. And if they want to do this, and I just talked about this the other day, when they go in their general practitioner and they, I'm tired, you know, I'm gaining weight, I don't know why, you know, I'm having sexual problems, I'm a little down, and there's nothing going wrong in my body, right? Nothing going wrong in my life. You know, the first thing to do would be to blood test. And most general practitioners, they'll blood test like a CMP, which is a comprehensive metabolic panel. It's a liver, kidneys, electrolytes. They might do a CBC, a blood count, make sure you're not sick, with white blood cells. And they might do like a lipid panel.
Got a
Look at
lipid
your
panel.
cholesterol, your
Good guy,
HDL, but they're not
basic stuff to make sure you won't die.
they're not looking at in depth. They're not looking at free and total testosterone levels, progesterone levels, estradiol levels, total estrogen levels for females, IGF-1 levels, insulin flight growth factor 1, and this would cause aging problems, sleeping problems, recovery problems. So that's the main thing. They need to go in and make sure they're getting the proper test to see what is going on inside their body. Instead of playing Frankenstein and guessing, they actually know for a fact, like, hey, listen, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is the treatment plan we're going to do to correct those issues in your body. And then that's when symptom relief comes into play, and that's where feedback from the patient to the provider comes into play too. Is it going well? Yes, it's going well. Like we check up on our patients. We want to make sure, hey, listen, is everything going good? Yes, everything's going good. Or no, everything's not going good. This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And then we need to readapt the treatment program to them to make sure that we're getting them the results and they're feeling better too as well. So that's really where it comes into play. And as far as safety,
I was going to say, I'm going to hit on two topics with the safety. So with the testosterone replacement therapy, right? And I bring this up every time I bring up safety, right? One of the biggest things with testosterone replacement therapy is to make sure that your H&H, which is your hemoglobin hematocrit levels, that they do not go up. And this is why it's very, very important. A lot of guys, we might tell them like, hey, listen, be prophylactic, do a donation quarterly, make sure that you're on top of it. But this is why it's ever so important that you're being monitored by somebody that is educated. Because a lot of people I'm seeing this quite often, and it's actually very scary that, you might have a general practitioner, even sometimes urologists, that will put their patients on testosterone. They're unaware that when the H&H goes up, that it thickens the blood. And that is the reason for this. They call it, like the testosterone's going to give you a heart attack, a blood clot, a stroke, a DVT, pulmonary embolism, something of that nature. However, it's because they're not monitoring their CBC to make sure, hey, listen, if they need a therapeutic phlebotomy, guess what? Some people are more sensitive than the next. They might need to go every 4 weeks. Some people might need to go every 6 weeks. Some people might need a dose decrease because they're so sensitive to it. There's so many different avenues that it can go, but it's that much more important that you are with somebody that's educated enough to acknowledge that. Not only that, but you're also with another, a clinic that cares, that's going to make you do the blood tests if you are indeed having some symptoms of maybe a high H&H, such as high blood pressure, headaches, feeling fatigued. Those are 3 common things with high H&H. And that goes for females and for males. But that's one of the biggest things, as far as, making sure you're safe while you're being on testosterone replacement therapy. We require our patients to do blood testing every 6 months. However, we follow up with our patients every 28 days to make sure you're doing okay. So if you drop in there, hey, listen, I'm having headaches, I'm having this, something's going on, maybe you have acne, God only knows, maybe you're feeling amazing, that's great, that's what I want to hear. But God forbid that you're not, this is where we catch it. We're not letting you go 6 months to a year without talking to you and just refilling your meds at Walgreens and just being like, go pick it up when you want. It is what it is. We're not doing that, right? No. That's my input, kind of like on the hormone replacement for testosterone anyway. And then the other portion is, and this is very common as well with females, right? So they'll go to their OB/GYN and talk about that they're having vaginal dryness, night sweats, mood swings, and they'll say, listen, they don't even do a blood test. No. They know that these, and hot flashes and all that, that's hey, listen, you know what, you're going through menopause, you need estrogen. What they don't know is that right, an estrogen that is not a bioidentical and it's synthetic, that's actually not good for you. That has been studied out there to show that that's what increases cancer cells, and it's not good for you. Women do need some estrogen, but taking a more natural approach versus the synthetic, and then also making sure that they're dialed in on a blood test versus just okay, yeah, you're having this. It's just there's definitely some safety precautions and protocols in play. You're doing hormone replacement therapy because it's serious. You're messing with somebody's body, and it's important to do the blood testing and make sure that you're checking up on your patient.
And I guess the other thing to that is that a lot of girls are, oh, I need testosterone. I thought that was just a guy's thing. Well, I always explain to them, like, listen, guys and girls have the exact same hormones in their body, right? They do the exact same things for us. We just need them at different levels.
Yep.
Obviously, testosterone is more of a masculine hormone, but females need it just at a lower level. And that's a big thing where we see some people doing pellets and stuff like that. We get this all the time. They get pellets inserted. It's a great theory. Insert them one time. Don't have to worry about rubbing any cream on, no injections, no nothing. And that's it. I go about my business, and 3 months later I come back and I'll be all good. The problem is that it spikes levels of all their different hormones and causes other negative symptoms for females or problems. And yeah, it's too high. If a female's testosterone is too high, it's obviously the case. Facial hair all over their body where they've never had it before. They're going to gain more weight. They're going to deepen their voice, and they're going to enlarge their clitoris. And these are things you take away, right? And that's why you see some of the female bodybuilders out there. We know they're doing a lot of testosterone. It's way over guys would do, and they have to deepen the voice, looking more masculine, and that's where the problem comes. So it's really getting those levels.
You try to explain to our patients too, like, hey, listen, guys, if you're doing what you need to be doing and you follow the regimen correctly, you don't need extensive amounts of anything, right? Everything is about having it in a harmonic balance, right? And females don't need a lot of testosterone to get to where they need to be to feel good, you know, and to have what they want, whether it's aesthetically or, you know, whether they want more energy or they want more libido or they want whatever it is that they want, you know. You don't need to have an excessive amount of it to get to where you're trying to go.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, and that's what I like about, you know, I had one of my clients say, well, they started me on such a low dose. And I'm like, that's what I love about them. Like, start low and go slow. Like, you don't want to get this big, massive dose and then end up with all these symptoms.
You would much rather start lower and go higher than versus go higher and be like, uh-oh.
I got problems.
Yeah. And then the other feedback was they text me all the time to check in. I'm like, are you complaining about this? Because what doctor have you ever had that would text you and go, how you doing? You doing okay? Do you like what you're on? Are you feeling good? So like, I just think that's a really neat aspect of Titan, is that there's so much checking in, it's almost overwhelming.
For the record, that is a human thing. That is not a bot.
That's right. It is not an automated response. That's right.
Don't use any automated responses or any automatic texts to any patient whatsoever. It's always a real person.
I love that.
That way, if you come back and you have a question right away, there's going to be somebody to be able to answer.
Absolutely. That's the way business should be run. So, okay. So now I love peptides. Let's go there now. I really want to expand the field of peptides to a lot of people because it's such a new field, but at the same time, it's so natural. I mean, we make a lot of these peptides are already in our body. We're just giving them at higher doses. So they're relatively new on the block when it comes to biohacking in the wellness field. Can you explain to my listeners what a peptide is and how they work inside the body? And then we'll talk about some of your favorites too.
Absolutely. So if people don't understand what peptides are, in more layman terms, peptides are amino acid sequences in different sequence roles, and that's what they are to the body, right? So different sequences produce different results. So whether it's BPC157 or TB500, different amino acid sequences, and it could be a different number too, whether it's 15 or 11 or 9, okay, or even more, higher. It just depends on what the peptide is. These are precursors in the body to have them regulate and to do different things and functions. And there's a number of different peptides out there that you can utilize that can be prescribed by physicians and medical practices. There's some that aren't. Okay, there's a lot of different peptides on the market. People, they always go online, they start looking at peptides. And if they go to a research and chemical site, they might see all this different variety on there, or things that they might see that's a fraction of the cost of what they get from a medical provider.
$5.
But on those bottles, it says not for human consumption, right? Right away. So why would I want to inject this in their body? There's no testing involved. There's nothing involved. So that's the big thing out there that I would warn people about, not to look at price and how I can just get it without a doctor's prescription, but to really look at where I'm getting it from and the credibility of that site or the person or doctor or physician that I'm getting it from. Peptides is where is the best peptides out there, because peptides are more natural to the body. Obviously, you know, they're not like anything else. They're not hormones. They're not SARMs, select androgen receptor modulators, or SERMs, select estrogen receptor modulators, but they're peptides. As far as when you get them, you're getting them from different sequences of the body as far as those amino acids. So one of my favorite peptides, which are the ones that we really do a lot of peptides. I would say there's 4 major, maybe 5 major peptides that I would really like to touch on. BPC157, TB500, both healing peptides. Awesome. They create new blood vessels in the body to bring blood to the areas that need to be healed. They both work a little bit differently, where BPC 157 is more site specific. So what that means is that you want to inject closer to the site where the injury's at. Okay. And that one comes from the gastric juices in our body, right? Our natural stomach gastric juices. So it's good for things like IBS or Crohn's disease or even ulcers, right? But if you inject this closer, let's say your shoulder, ligaments, tendons, muscles, this can help with repairing these different areas, not masking pain, but really, really getting down and healing the problem.
Front seat.
Sorry, that's my son. I apologize. TB500. Yeah. So TB500 comes from TB4, which is in the thymus gland. That works the exact same way, but it works systemically throughout the body. That means that you can inject it into the subcutaneous tissue in your stomach, and it's going to work all over the body and work. It's great for soft tissues in the body too as well. So joint areas, shoulders, knees, elbows, golf elbow, tennis elbow, because a lot of people suffer from these different things. So those are the main healing peptides I think that I've used. I've got great results from. A lot of our patients have used a number of different injuries and got great results from. Some not having to go to surgery to healing a lot quicker, even topical. Like we had one of our people that had road rash. She fell off the back of a motorcycle in a crash, had second and third degree burns all over her body, and has healed tremendously. We were squirting it on her topically just to see it, and injecting to see how fast she could heal, and she healed a lot faster. Doctor was like, "Oh my God, like, what did you do? Right? Did you take the secret miracle healing elixir out there?" But no, that was it. So those are two main healing ones, and I touch on that because everybody sustains an injury in their life, whether it's working out or at their work or at their home, right? It just happens. You might roll an ankle, and this thing is blown up. It's crazy. So those are two main ones. The other one would be PT 141.
Yeah.
So PT 141 is actually FDA approved for female libido enhancement. It works on males the exact same way.
That's a good one.
And you're saying, well, I know about some other libido enhancements like Viagra or Cialis. The difference between this and those is that this works on the nervous system. The other ones work on the vascular system, right? So that's bringing blood flow down to the extremities, which is increasing sensitivity, the erections, and all of that. Where this is creating true libido from the mind and the nervous system. So it's a mind effect. It works very well on males and females, and it comes in injectable, it comes in an oral form, and it works tremendously. So PT 141 is a big game changer, especially for females. Like I said, because females there's a big amount of females that can't achieve orgasm or have only do it on rare occasions. And this can break that barrier for them and have them enjoy what they should be able to enjoy with their partners. It shouldn't be just one way. It should be both ways. And that way, a more happier relationship, happier people, I think.
Another big one, CJC.
CJC. CJC and iPhenolic. So
that's a big one.
That's a big one, right? And those are actually two different peptides. Yes. So those are really the anti-aging therapies as far as peptides go. They're GHRH peptides, growth hormone releasing hormone peptides. And they're two different ones. And they work a little bit differently, but they work great synergistically. And that's why we put them together, where they help increase your natural growth hormone, your pituitary, to be stimulated. And this goes down as far as benefit-wise, as far as anti-aging for your skin, hair, nails, libido effect, leaning out, better quality of sleep, better quality of mood. And like I said, it's an overall anti-aging thing as far as those two. And what they do is one increases the natural growth hormone, the other increases the pulse of how that natural growth hormone is getting generated in the body as far as that goes. And those work great together. And like I said, that's one little injectable you do every day. Okay. The other one after that would be MK677, ibutamoren. So this has been categorized in the beginning as a SARM, which is not. It's not a select androgen receptor modulator. It is actually a peptide. It's ibutamoren. And the way that this works is the exact same way as CJC, but it's in an oral form. It's the only oral GHRH out there, peptide. So this is the only one, because some people don't like to do injections. They don't want to do injections. And this is really a good one for them. And what it was a clinical data study this on 55 years and older patients originally. And it increased IGF-1 levels 123%. That's a huge gain on IGF-1 levels. So for people's recovery, sleep, their anti-aging, that was a game changer. The only thing about this one is that it really severely stimulates the ghrelin hormone, the hunger hormone in the body.
Yeah, you'll eat the whole kitchen.
So if you do take it 15 minutes later, I don't care if you had a buffet beforehand, you're going to eat again. So that's the one thing. And you do get males and females out there that are ectomorphs, or they can't gain a lot of weight. So like I've had girls come to me and say, listen, I really want to get booty, but I don't care. I've always been skinny my whole life, and I'll do anything to gain weight. I actually, people say don't eat carbs. I eat a ton of carbs. I go to McDonald's. I try to eat all these things I don't even like, but I think they're going to make me gain weight. This is for them, right? This will help them gain the weight that they need. Guys, guys want to gain lean mass. This is the best way to do it. It's going to increase their calorie count. Surplus is going to make them stronger and more mass on them too as well. So I think those are important ones. And we've got a couple other ones, but I think,
we got a slew.
I don't want to go crazy.
No, I love, I could go into peptides all day. Now, my favorite that I love from you guys and I use or have used is, the DSIP. So
DSIP.
I love DSIP because it is so transformational when it comes to sleep. And like you were mentioning, I just taught a class on sleep this morning because it's really 70% of the population has some sort of sleep issue. So talk to us about DSIP.
So DSIP, Delta Sleep Inducing Peptide. Very, very cool peptide. Now this one works to get you into that REM sleep, that deep sleep that's revitalizing, rejuvenating, and can definitely help you out as far as waking up refreshed in the morning. With this one, it's been used for a lot of different things in their studies. So they've used this with alcohol patients, drug addicted patients as well. And this has actually helped them too. But this is more focused for people there's two types of people. There's people that can't go to sleep and the wheels just keep turning at night. Right? Thinking about their job, thinking about the family. What am I going to do tomorrow? How am I going to do this? And they just can't go to sleep. This will help them get into that deep sleep. And it's quality over quantity too. So if you're getting 6 good hours of REM deep sleep, that's better of 8 hours of tossing and turning all night or turning over. The second sleeper goes to sleep originally, but can't stay asleep. And those are the people that wake up every hour on the hour, every couple hours, and they just felt like they haven't slept all night. They felt worse than when they tried to go to bed per se. So this has been a game changer as far as that for them. It's a great therapy all the way around. I mean, Delta Sleep Inducing Peptide, DSIP, has definitely taken over.
One.
It's one of the main ones we recommend for sleep. We did have Titan Serenity before. We had GABA in it.
One.
We had Titan Serenity,
well.
but we had to take the GABA out of it. But it has L-theanine, magnesium, and taurine. So it is good for people that have
we've definitely had some
anxiety,
good feedback on that
sleep
one.
issues too as well. But
and they wake up refreshed.
You still have that one available too?
Yes, we do.
Oh, good.
Yes,
But I might have to try that one. I love to enhance the sleep even further. Now, the DSIP, I will tell people, when you first take it, don't expect like your first night to be transformational. Like it's kind of a buildup. You have to take it, and then over time, you're going to slowly notice your sleep improving. So, with all these peptides, it's not just like overnight you've lost 5 pounds when you take CJC or the AOD 9604. I mean, that one's one you need to talk about too. I have my clients I have a client of mine on that because, we weren't getting a lot of results weight-wise. So this is one that really can move the needle for people. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So AOD 9604, Advanced Obesity Drug. That's what it stands for. Now this one's a great one, right? So this is actually it's taken a sequence from growth hormone, just a sequence for weight loss portion, right? So when we talk about this, growth hormone is 191 amino acid sequence. It's just like peptides. It's just 191 amino acids sequenced in a certain way, and that's what it is. Where AOD is 176 sequence of amino acids. So it takes that chain of 176 amino acids, and that's what really produces it. So when we talk about AOD and the way that it works, this is the best thing ever. So it actually helps destroy fat in the body and help actually utilize the things in your body that would store as fat for energy. So lipolysis and lipogenesis. Okay, so we talk about these things. So it helps get rid of stored fat in the body, and it helps you not accumulate fat and store fat in the body too as well. It's awesome. No really contraindications for it. It has no negative side effects like growth hormone would have for you. It's very safe. It has GRAS status, which is generally regarded as safe status as far as with the FDA. So it's a really good medication and drug for people, a peptide as well. So yeah, we get a lot, and you can utilize that one with a number of different therapies out there.
Yeah.
So that's
You
a good
mix it
thing.
in.
Most of the therapies that we have, you can take together. There's no contraindication between this therapy and that therapy. Most of them you can take together and stack together. So ECA Stack Plus, like
My favorite.
If you
The second one.
ECA Stack Plus with AOD 9604, you're going to get expedited results.
Okay.
You know, the one thing I tell people is, because most people, when they talk about weight loss and they think about weight loss and what the medication is going to be, they always think of stimulant effect, fat burners, right? And ECA Stack Plus will obviously give you the energy and help with the fat burning and stuff like that. But AOD has no stimulant in it.
Yeah.
It's no stimulation whatsoever. So people think if they inject it, like, oh man, I ain't getting no boost at all. That's not what it does, and that's not how it works. So that's how I like to explain. But if you do want the boost and you want the energy and you want the secondary add back therapy to help for weight loss and really expedite it, that's where ECA Stack Plus really comes into play.
Okay, we will jump in there in just a second. But one more peptide that I know is a big one, because I feel like, I don't have any clinical research on this, but I feel like it kept me from getting COVID during the big upswing in numbers, which is thymosin alpha. Like they took it away. Oh, I think I did hear that on one of your podcasts.
Yeah, I was not happy about that, because it was definitely one of the things that helped me recover from COVID. Like me personally, that's my personal like experience, not like putting it out there as this is what it did. But for me personally, it really did help me a lot.
And I was exposed, so I had a quarantine, so I took it, and I swear that, you know, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't going to get it, but I mean, I totally stayed well, and I owe it all to thymosin, because in general, we have a lot of people with weakened immune systems, and this one is a huge immune booster. But okay, sorry, I guess they can't get that one from you anymore.
We should still talk about it, though. I mean, we should definitely still cover it. It's that important of a drug out there, I'll be honest with you. Thymosin alpha 1. The manufactured version of it, right? Not the compounded version, but the manufactured version is still out there. It's called Zidaxin. Okay. And that was it was something that was orphaned in by the FDA. Now what it was used for is it was used for cancer patients, as far as helping them through their cancer treatments, even vaccine efficiency. It works to help increase vaccines and how they work in the body, which is really, really crazy. Now, thymosin alpha 1 is awesome, because what it does is it augments and increases T cells in the body. Now, T cells come in two different forms. They have helper cells and killer cells. Helper cells track down the bad cells in the body, recognize these cells, make a duplicate copy. The killer cells come in, eradicate it, and then transform it into a good cell or take it all the way out. But thymosin alpha 1 has been big because obviously, you know, with COVID, and I don't want to even mention this, obviously with the sickness that we came across here in the past. And with this sickness, we know that T cells, and there's been more research is coming out more and more about T cells and how they affect the body and the immune system, because they're the biggest part, one of the biggest parts of the immune system is your T cells. And we know that this has been helping for COVID or these different sicknesses that are out there. So at that point, it's a shame that the drug has been put away per se by the government and stuff like that, because before it was fine and there was no problems.
I think it was being abused, just telling people it was a cure.
The issue was, I'll tell you exactly what it was, because we know exactly what it was. The problem was this: there was a pharmacy out there that was making it. And what they do is they usually educate doctors. It's just like a pharmaceutical rep. A pharmaceutical rep goes into a doctor's office and he comes in and says, "Doc, I got this new drug. I want to teach you about it real quick. You know, do you have 30 minutes? I brought lunch in. Would you come sit with me?" So they come in there, they start talking about the drug. The doctors see, "Oh, cool. All right, here's some of the clinical data on it." And then, "Hey, listen, we start prescribing this to your patients." So this one pharmacy had this guy who was educating doctors in these different states, and he was telling these doctors that this is the COVID cure. This is going to cure COVID in your patients.
Can't do that.
So what was happening after that was doctors were going out and they were telling people and touting this on their websites and in their podcasts or whatever it was, and touting it as the COVID cure. Some doctors actually lost their medical license because of this. They did. And then at that point, it all comes rolling downhill. You know what? You guys can't even produce this anymore. We don't even want it compounded anymore. So if somebody really wanted the commercial version, Zidaxin is the one that they can go ask their doctor for,
just
whatever
expensive.
it is. It's just really expensive.
Well, what I
doing
love
stuff.
about what you guys just did is you told about a product that is effective, but you don't even carry it. So it's like, this shows your passion for helping people. It's like, we can't get it to you because they took it away from us, but here's how to get it, or here's what to look for, or ask for. I mean, I love that passion. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, as we age, our thymus gland actually it gets smaller. So that's why people that get older, when they get sick, it's harder for them to recover. Their immune system's not as good. It's because of this. This drug can help older people too as well. So, you know, like I said, if you're younger, older, immunocompromised, you know, going through cancer and stuff like this, those chemo treatments will definitely break down the cells in your body. And we got to remember this: every day there's bad cells in our body that get grown every day. Our immune system takes care of these things. And when some of these things get by, that's where cancerous cells come into play. And that's what happens. They get by and they start growing, they start spreading, and our body just didn't do what it was supposed to do at that point in time.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad you talked about that, because it's that, hopefully that'll help somebody who's thinking about looking into it. So, all right, now going into the fun stuff. The ECA stack. So I remember taking this back in the day and loving it. And I actually make a tea, and I use the leaves of the ephedra, which is like Mormon tea, they call it. And then I use white willow bark, and then I use coffee in there, and I make like this ECA tea, because white willow bark is how where aspirin comes from. So I kind of make my own ECA stack tea, but I love that you guys are offering it, because you can't get this on your own. And this is actually for somebody looking to change their aesthetics, and you're working out and you want energy and you want to see the changes on your body. Tell them about ECA.
Sure. So ECA Stack Plus, ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin, B12, and chromium. It's a great combination. ECA has been around for a long time, right? And especially in the bodybuilding community, people were putting together ECAs, ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin, for a long period of time. And ephedrine was used over the counter. It was something you could go into a big box store and buy it, no problem. What happened was people abused ephedrine. People actually died from ephedrine, from dehydration and stuff like that. And then it got banned. So the only way that you can get true ephedrine HCl, not ephedrine bark or anything like this, true ephedrine HCl is prescribed and through a pharmacy. Now, I know a lot of people that try to buy these different things and put them together and all that.
Yeah, over the counter sinus medication.
Yeah, not a good way to do that.
Get all the garbage that goes with it.
Yeah, it's very effective as far as ephedrine, obviously raising core temperatures, you know, giving the energy, more mental focus and clarity.
Might be the only thing that's kept me skinny, you know, outside of the gym.
You know, caffeine's the exact same way when it works synergistically with ephedrine for more weight loss effect and energy. And then you have aspirin. So aspirin at 30 milligrams. So that's more than underneath half of a baby aspirin. So it's something they can take every day. Now, if somebody has an aspirin allergy, right? They're allergic to aspirin. We can take the aspirin out of the capsule too as well. So that can work great for somebody that does have that problem. Now, B12 and chromium, that's the plus added on to ECA. Now, these two are great for a couple different things as far as stimulating the metabolism naturally, burning fat and more energy. So that's why we put in B12 and chromium in there. It's great to work out or anything like that. Even if they're drinking a whole bunch of coffee, way better and substituted for any energy drink on the market. It has no sugars, no these other garbage fillers or anything like that. All it is ECA Stack Plus. The other thing to it is for me, when I talk to somebody and I talk to them about pre-workouts, because a lot of people need the energy, right? They've had a long day at work, they're going to the gym afterwards, they take this stuff just to get them going so they can get that workout in. And you're taking size of caffeine. Are you taking in 1, 2 serving size? Because I see that your pre-workout has 400 milligrams of caffeine per serving size. Well, I take 2. So you're taking 800 milligrams of caffeine right off the bat to get stimulated. That's too much. And some people don't even think about those things. They just take the scoops, they put them in there, they start drinking it. And then they feel really stimulated, like they're bouncing off the walls. now they're nauseated or feeling some kind of stomach, they got to go to the bathroom, all these different things. And with ECAs, you don't get any of that. It's nice, natural, clean energy. It's more of an euphoric feeling.
Yeah.
It's going to give them the energy they need, but it's not going to overstimulate them or hurt them.
No heart palpitations, no jitters.
Yeah, you're not going to overdose on caffeine on it, because that's what happens. It's an overdose of these different medications that make them feel like that. And even caffeine, it's a drug. Whether all of us take it or not, it's still a drug by definition. So with this, it's a nice way to get lean, weight loss, mental clarity, and get energized throughout the day. I take one of our high dose blue and white ones in the morning. It gets me through my whole day, my workout. I don't take any powder, any supplements, any pre-workouts, nothing like that. So everything I take is tight and driven 100%. And the ECAs have definitely helped me out in a number of different ways.
I take the lower dosage because we have multiple dosages. And me personally, I have I'm a little sensitive to caffeine. So even if I drink like a coffee or something, I might be a little, so we make a lower dosage for people like me. I take one in the morning, fasted, and the best way to do it is fasted, because you're burning fat right off the top. But and then I take a second one at lunch, and then because I'm taking it that far apart from going to bed, it doesn't keep me up all night. So it works out great.
The aspirin, I mean, a lot of people that listen to this, because I've talked about aspirin before, is actually lowers estrogen. So if somebody is dealing with an excess amount of estrogen, it's kind of like a natural aromatase inhibitor, aspirin, and it comes from a natural source, white willow bark. So it's like, it is a good adjunct in there just to balance out so you don't get the jitters and things like that.
Yeah, heart palpitations and stuff like that. It's really, ECA Stack Plus is a staple. I think majority of patients with us like taking the ECA Stack Plus. And different people have different tolerances, and that's why we have different doses of it, because we don't want people to be overstimulated. We want people to feel good. I just want them to be like, oh my God, I can't take this. We don't want that. On the flip side of that, there's people out there that have cardiovascular problems, hypertension, or some different issues that can't take the ECA.
A little contradiction.
And that's why we have all the other great weight loss therapies that we have for them. So we have some different options for them too as well.
So let's go there. Let's talk about semaglutide. I know
that's a game changer.
I know, I've heard some stories. So so you have it in a blend called Aries, right? Is it Aries?
I've taken it myself, and it's been great.
Yeah.
Wow. So talk to me about that. Yeah.
Sure. Our Aries injectable weight loss therapy, semaglutide. Semaglutide is a game changer as far as the therapy wise. It's been around for a while now. The original FDA approval for semaglutide came with type 2 diabetes patients.
Okay.
That was originally what it was made for. All right. But from the effects of it over time and looking at all the clinical data, the company actually looked at it and said, listen, the biggest thing that we're seeing here with these patients that are taking it is weight loss, losing up to 10 to 15% of total body mass. That's a huge percentage. Okay, so what they decided to do was go for another FDA approval for weight loss. So it did get the weight loss FDA approval. So it is FDA approved for weight loss. Now with this, what it does and how it works, because some patients say, listen, I don't have any sugar problems or anything like that. Well, that's okay. You can still use it for weight loss. And the way that it works, there's no stimulant effect to it at all. When we were talking about ECAs and great weight loss there, but it still had stimulant effect. And all the other FDA approved medications that have came in the past, phentermine, tetrametrazine, all these are horrible, and you can't take them for long extended periods of time. You can have other cardiac issues along with taking these medications. So semaglutide, you don't have that. No contraindication for hypertension patients, type 2 diabetes patients, all these other things that could affect people from not taking these other therapies. That's where semaglutide really comes into play. You can take semaglutide 1 injection a week, and that's it.
That's easy.
Wow.
Semaglutide, it's a glucagon, it's a GLP-1. It's a glucagon-like peptide one. So it's not a peptide, it's a glucagon-like peptide. And the way that it works is really, really cool, right? So one main thing that it does is it curbs hunger and appetite. That's a big frustration with people that are going through weight loss. Usually patients complain about not being able to control their hunger. I want to eat all the time, or
this one you'll have to force yourself.
They might not tell you, and they're snacking, right? They just can't take it, and they got to get that snack.
I know, it's late at night, and I just want snacks.
And that's one big benefit of it. So that's a home run right there. The second way that it really does work is it actually takes, if you do eat a sugary diet per se, or something that's in your food, it actually takes the sugar out of the bloodstream and transports it into the cells so you can utilize it for energy. So this helps not storing fat too as well, right? So that's another big one. The other way that it works with blood sugar levels is what it does is when you eat something, it actually controls the way it's digested in the stomach to a certain extent, where it doesn't release all the micronutrients at one time. And usually when you eat something, unless a sugary thing too as well, those things get digested quickly and all the sugar hits our system really fast. Okay. And that's why usually blood sugar levels rise really quick, where this doesn't do that. So it lets all the micronutrients release at an even keel time, not all at once, but through a period of time. And that's what slows down the digestion and doesn't make you as hungry. That's how it
definitely
works.
curbs the appetite.
So it's really good.
What's been your experience? You said, Sharisse, that you've taken it. So what's been your experience?
I've been great. I mean, I was great with it. And we actually taper the dose up. So you start with a super, super baby dose, work your way up so your body gets used to it. You know, I was really surprised because I do snack a lot at night. And I guess when I took it it was quick too. Probably within the first week, I realized like, oh wait, I'm like, I had all these like extra snacks hanging around and I'm like, why didn't I eat these snacks? I'm like, you know, and then throughout the day, I kind of just realized that, you know, I might have, you know, you're okay with eating a smaller portion and not, you know, maybe binge eating, you know, because me personally, I work a lot of hours, right? So it's almost like I justify in my brain at the end of the day, like, you know what? I've had a stressful day and I'm just going to eat whatever I want because I can. Or hey, this is what's gonna make me happy. I'm gonna eat pizza and French fries, right? That's gonna make me happy. But you know, you don't really like crave anything specific, which is cool because you get the appetite suppressant without taking an appetite suppressant.
Right.
So that was pretty neat about it. And then you know you're going to start to see weight drop no matter what.
Oh yeah.
Even if you are still eating, you know, like maybe you shouldn't be eating, or maybe you're not exercising as much. Like myself, I'm very straightforward. I don't exercise every single day. I'm on the go all the time, but you know, I might not always have, you know, an hour dedicated to the gym, or, you know, I might have a cocktail at night or something. So, you know, I'm normal to some degree most of the time. Right? But you know, it was a great experience because, you know, I was able to really, I mean, I think we have probably like half the staff on it maybe right now. And you know, they really got down to the goal weight, you know, and once they got down to that goal weight, it's cool because once you get down to the goal weight, now you can build on just, you know, lean muscle mass instead of trying to build underneath fat. So you know, I would say probably
you have to take forever.
5 pounds a week, I think, give or take, and just depending on who you are, what you're doing with your diet and exercising. You know, this is me being conservative on what we're losing, but you know, me personally, it was about 5 pounds a week.
I've had, you know, some patients
oh my gosh
20 pounds in 4 weeks.
I have it right here. Our best friend that lives in UK, and he comes here all the time, you know, and I can say his name, Harshal. You know, he's done great with it. He's got a wedding coming up in May. And he's been on it for a few months now. And I mean, 2 months, and he's lost 30 pounds.
Okay. And so safety wise, like I haven't seen anything that says there's a lot of side effects. Like it seems like a relatively safe.
The only side effect that has been known to, you know, happen with some people is you might get, like, especially with the first couple dosages while your body gets adjusted to it, you may get a little bit of nausea. But what we do is we prescribe you guys along with the therapy, we do give you guys the ginger capsules and the B6 capsules to kind of help balance that out, so that if you do get any of those side effects, you have something to take with it. But we haven't had really any complaints, or, you know, nobody's dropping this extensive amount of weight where it's, you know, not healthy per se.
That's the big thing. And as far as contraindications, it's literally like thyroid issues. So
it's just thyroid and pancreatitis.
If you have those two things, then this might not be the therapy for you. But majority of people, they don't have those issues. They really don't.
This has been one of the good ones that we can put people on, especially the ECAs are great, but anybody that's on an antidepressant, or, you know, maybe they're hypertensive or something like that, they're not going to be able to take the ECAs. So we got to look at other options for them, you know.
And honestly, you know, more people that are overweight and they take this drug, you know, the more weight they lose, the better they might become. They might get away from type 2 diabetes. We've had some patients totally cleared from type 2 diabetes. It was a diabetes patient for I think like 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
So at that point, when we're seeing things like that, like it's a game changer for people.
For sure.
And then not have to take something every day, once a week, boom,
Sure.
that's it with a little insulin needle.
And I'm not the most regimented either. So once a week shot for me was great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I'm like, listen, just take it on Sunday, be done with it. You know?
Now, with a lot of your stuff, you kind of have to be needle friendly, and some people aren't, but because you have some other injectable vitamins and amino acid therapies, like you have the MIC and some other things I've heard you talk about, like for immune boosting and stuff, which are excellent. Like I love when I hear all the things you put in them as a nutritionist. I'm like, these guys are brilliant. Like
it's so overrated though. The needle is so overrated.
I know, it's nothing. It's so easy.
You know, every time somebody hears needle, they're like, oh my God, it's this big needle. They're gonna wear. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I don't like needles. But listen, if it's gonna, more benefits will outweigh a small little tiny needle that actually doesn't hurt, because water soluble, everything is water soluble, minus the testosterone and vitamin D. It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
And talk about like why it's so much more effective than just taking a pill orally.
Let's talk about this. This is a great discussion.
Yeah, this is one of our favorites.
This was something that somebody brought up to me a long time ago too as well. So 7 out of 10 of our patients have never done any injection whatsoever. Right. So that means that they're not used to needles, they're not doing their own injections, pulling medications. And that's why we have our great tutorial videos and our staff to back up that support. So they can do that very easily. And once they get over, the needle and putting it the first time, I think that, this isn't too bad. And then they start feeling the effects and the benefits, and they're like, oh man, I'm on this. This is why we've done so well. Right. But when we talk about why people should do injections versus oral supplementation, there's a lot of different reasons why. First off, transportation rate. It's getting the body a lot quicker. 2, absorbency rate. We're talking about, 80 to 90% absorbency, right, when you're injecting into yourself. So that means it's getting into your body faster and you're getting a lot more of it, right, right away. When we take an oral supplementation too, this is another thing. First off, we got to trust the companies that are selling us this thing's over the counter. Is it really what's in the bottle? It's on the label. Is there anything that's not in there? What else is in there? What's going to affect me? These fillers and such.
Nobody's regulating it.
That's the thing. The second thing is when we take it in orally too as well, we're taking our gastric tract. It's getting broken down. You're not absorbing as much as far as that goes into your body. So that's really the benefit of taking an injectable versus oral. You're going to be, what you're getting. It's getting to your body a lot quicker, and you're absorbing a lot more into the body, and you're bypassing the liver too as well. So with the liver, it's the filter of the body. Everything we take in orally gets filtered through our liver and such. So you could be putting more stress and damage on those vital organs as well. When you're taking in some of the supplementations that you think are helping you, that could be really hurting you or stressing these vital organs. After that, I think that's the big ones as far as what I would say. What's the difference between oral supplementation and injectable supplementation?
Yeah. And then the blood work is really inexpensive, because even me, I can offer my clients through Ulta, I can see them getting their labs and I can see their labs, but I can't even get it at the price you guys get it at. And so like, it's really cool that you guys make it highly affordable too. So tell us about the telemedicine visit.
Sure. So the biggest thing for us was for the blood work. It wasn't to hit home runs on people. We weren't trying to make a whole bunch of money on blood work. The biggest thing for blood work for us was to show somebody what was truly going on inside, not just telling them, oh, it looks like you have this, and this by what you're saying. Now we have blood work and we can show you exactly what's going wrong, exactly how we need to fix it. For us, we have the most inexpensive blood work in the country, whether you're getting the full panels from us for a male or female, or whether we need to add more panels on there or single things that we need to look at specifically. We can even test all your amino acids, essential and non-essential amino acids through blood work, all your different vitamins, and we can do a food sensitivity allergy test for the patient, whether they want to pick, hey, listen, my nutritionist picked out these different foods for me. I want to make sure that I'm not going to have any sensitivity or bloating for these things. Customize those panels, or we can make one big general panel that covers everything for them. So they can really see what's going on. So our biggest thing was to allow patients, because a lot of patients out there, and maybe it's bodybuilders as well, they're scared to tell their physician what's really going on. They're scared that they're going to be judged, or that the physician won't even run these tests if they ask them for it. There's a lot of people that go into their physicians and they ask them to run these
open up Pandora's box.
Why do you need that? You don't need that. No, I'm not going to do that.
They're not going to do it because they don't know how to explain it when it comes back.
So that's the big thing, and people, they don't want to do blood work, or they don't know how to get blood work because their physician won't write on blood work. They're scared to write it for them. So when they come to us, they can actually get the blood work done. No questions asked. Let me get the blood work. Let me see what's going on. So for us, it's real simple and easy process. If you want to get blood work through us, all you have to do is call or text the line. And that's the main number, 727-389-3220. And at that point, all you have to say is, listen, I want to get a full blood panel, male blood panel, female blood panel. And the only thing I want to mention with that is make sure you know what you're getting in a panel from somebody. It's very easy for somebody to say, listen, you're going to get a full panel through us.
But my doctor just ran a full panel on me. They send it over. It's just a CBC, CMP lipid. I'm like, okay, anyways, let's get the full panel.
Yeah. That's a general practitioner's full panel, those 3 tests.
Let's get the full panel because we're still missing like 80% of the tests.
Right.
So it's real easy. So they call, they say, listen, I want to get the full panel. They pay for that full panel. And then that night they'll get their prepaid lab requisition slip in their email with the nearest locations of where they can go to a lab corp or whatever is around them. And at that point, they go directly to it. To the lab, they turn in their lab requisition. They don't have to pay any more money. There's no insurance card that's needed. And at that point, they draw their labs, and we get the labs expedited in 3 to 4 business days.
Yeah.
So that means we're getting back to you a lot quicker than you would get it from any general practitioner. You're not going to get paid or charged another copay and have to sit somewhere waiting for that physician to come in there, because that's what people have to do.
Yeah.
People literally either through telemedicine or from going into the office, they have to go in there, they have to wait and pay. And then at that point, they'll finally meet with a provider, and they'll tell the provider what's going on. The provider might write for the test, might not write for the test. If they do write for the test, they get the prescription, and they have to go into LabCorp. They go get the test drawn, just like we would do. But at that point, what they're doing is they're waiting. They have to wait for the medical office to get back to them, to assign another appointment for them, and then for them to pay again to go in front to get those results. And then at that point, they don't know what they're going to do with those results. So they waste a lot of time, a lot of energy, more money than they would just buying the panels from us as far as that goes and going and getting their lab work done. So that's pretty easy, pretty simple. We call you in 3 to 4 business days. We give you a brief description of kind of what's going on. And if we can help you or treat you, we get you scheduled for your consultation, which is real simple and easy to do. We schedule you at a time, a date, and all you need is a little link that we send you and fill out the new patient paperwork. You're going to meet with the provider, go over everything. Stuff. And at that point, they'll make the recommendations, and you can pick kind of what you want out of those recommendations or some other therapies, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, full disclosure, these guys, this Titan Medical is my doctor now, or my provider or practitioner, because nutritionist or health coach, we need to have people to field ideas about our own health out too. And like a lot of people listening locally, you can't find a doctor who will listen, or you can't find a doctor who also offers these kind of treatments that maybe you've heard about, but yet you can't seem to get a doctor to prescribe them for you. Now you don't even have to leave your home. You can just sit in your house, have a call, let people listen to you. I mean, I had an hour consult with your provider, and he listened to everything I said, and he was compassionate, and he was like on top of things, like he knew his stuff. And I was really impressed by that. And so that's why I really wanted to tell people that you can have a doctor now anywhere you are. They'll listen to you and they'll work with you on meeting your goals. So it's really cool. So where can people find you?
For having us on too.
So yeah, we really appreciate it.
Where can people find you? How can they reach out? Say the number again. And of course, I'll have everything in the show notes as well.
Sure. You guys can call or text 727-389-3220. You can check out our website, titanmedicalcenter.com, Instagram, Facebook. You can go to those pages, Titan Medical Center, look it up. YouTube channel, just type in Titan Medical Center. You'll get to see all the therapies we offer, all the other content we have, and we'll put this up as soon as you give us this. And that's where you can find us. You can call or text us anytime.
And
I'll be there waiting for you.
That's right. And pull up their podcast too, because Titan, I think it's Titan Lifestyle is the name of the podcast. Yeah. So it's a really good podcast, and you guys are so enthusiastic, and you have interesting things like the whole Apple car, when you were talking about the Apple car coming out and stuff like that. So
we talk about everything.
Oh, I know. I love it. So thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me. I know you guys got a jet, but I appreciate your time. And maybe we can do this again, because I would love to talk. There's so many more treatments you have, like you mentioned, the Hercules potions. So we got to get into those too.
Don't forget those libido enhancers for males and females.
Right, Cupid's candy, right?
Another one of these bad boys. Yeah, Cupid's candy.
Cupid's candy.
Well, definitely do it again then. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, are you in the Midwest? Are you in the East Coast? Are you in Brazil? Are you in Asia? It doesn't matter where you are. I would love to work with you as your nutritionist. And so just to let you know, I offer nutrition consulting worldwide. You can work with me anywhere. I have clients all over the world, and I love to spend time over the internet with each one of them, figuring out their specific needs. So your specific needs, what deficiencies are you having? What symptoms are you dealing with daily that we can address for you? So that's what I, as a nutrition detective, like to get to the bottom of. I ask you a ton of questions. We meet over Zoom or over FaceTime, whatever is convenient for you, and we discuss all of your specific needs. If you would like to work with me, just shoot me an email, getfitwithjodelle@gmail.com. That's getfit, getfitwithjodelle@gmail.com, and let's set up a 15-minute free call for you just to see if I'm a good fit for you as a nutrition therapy practitioner. Again, email me getfitwithjodelle@gmail.com, and let's get you set up feeling better, lose that unwanted weight that you have going on, lose those symptoms that you have hanging around, and optimize your health as best we can. So a common question I get is, what are some of my favorite supplements that I take daily? Well, here are my faves, just to name a few. I love a good magnesium glycinate for stress and sleep. I love a good multi-mineral to make sure I have all the raw materials for my thyroid and my metabolic processes. I like BCAAs, branch chain